Good evening, folks. Welcome to a Tuesday night live stream here. Adam Azer and Dan Schneier. Horrible hair day. Oh, God. You win. You win today. I'm not even going to compete.
I've never lost that hair. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Every time we put up as a poll, I've won. And I've won.
Great poll question. Great poll question. I'm done enough with your stupid hair. Great poll question today. What is the best board game? So we'll come back to that.
That's a great question. And I got strong takes on board games.
What a surprise. What a surprise, folks.
And my guess right now is Thomas put up some bad options here. I love Thomas, but like
no, he put up some.
Did he put up Settlers of Catan?
No, okay. He put up more classics. He put up more of the old classics.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here to answer your questions and talk waiver wire and whatever else you want to talk about. I can't sit here and give you a ton of start-sit advice, but we can try. So we don't have any more information, unfortunately, about the Steelers running backs that I saw. I'll do another search real quick here. But as we go into the week, have you made your claims and have you prioritized Zonovan Knight and Blake Snell, 49ers backfields, etc.? What's your hierarchy?
I haven't made my claims yet. I usually do it after our show here. Typically, I have to wait for your word to make my final. No, I'm just kidding. I make my own, but I will say this: as far as the backs you mentioned, I would probably put Snell ahead of Zonovan Knight. I just, from everything I've read, there's no, this is not based on what Tomlin said or anything, but it's probably going to be a 1 to 2 week injury with Najee, and I feel like the Steelers' offense has gotten much better at creating holes up front in the run game, at least what it looked like against Indy. And that's a tough defensive front, Indianapolis, with DeForest Buckner in there. That is not the Eagles had trouble running on them a week ago. So I just like what I see a little bit more there, I guess I would say. And when you factor in also that there are multiple backs in the Jets hierarchy, though, I would love to get the injury report, Adam, because I want to see what's going on with Jaylen Warren. He missed last week with a hamstring. If Warren's back, that kind of saps all the potential, I think, from Benny Snell.
Well, we were talking about that, and Dave and Jamie seem to disagree on this.
Okay.
What do you think if Jaylen Warren and Benny Snell are playing? Do you think Jaylen Warren is the lead running back, or do you think Jaylen Warren keeps his third down role and spells Blake Snell, not Blake Snell, Benny Snell? Do you think does Benny Snell become Najee Harris and Warren stays in his Warren role, or what do you think that backfield looks like if it's Snell and Warren?
I would guesstimate it would look like Benny Snell plays the Najee Harris role minus a couple 2 to 3 series that also go to Warren. So Warren keeps the passing down role. Benny Snell would still be the red zone back, I think, especially like short yardage goal line situation, but he's going to lose 2 more series at least than Najee had. And Najee wasn't really a fantasy option even in that role before this. So I just feel like, yeah, they'll use McFarland if Warren is out. But for the most part, Snell will have a better chance at volume if Warren and Najee are both out.
And then where are we on Zamir White? Because that's an interesting one too, facing the Chargers, which couldn't be a better matchup. And listen, this is a team that's not making the playoffs that could easily bench Josh Jacobs down the stretch if he's still got this injury going. And Jacobs is questionable. He wants to play there. He's probably not going to practice this week though. So, where does Zamir White factor in?
Low for me because Jacobs played through this injury last week. Now there is more wear and tear after an overtime game where he had 30 plus touches, a crazy amount of touches, 300 yards. But having said that, he played through it last week. I don't see any, there was no re-aggravation of it. It's just, we just found out about it this week. So that's really just more information. And as far as the other comment you made about,
there was a re-aggravation.
Was there an aggravation or was just
like, yeah. So he had the calf injury going into the week or going into the game. We found out about that, I think, on Saturday. And then during the game on Sunday, Josh Jacobs did come out briefly, and he said the coaches wanted him to stay out. But he came back in and won the game for them.
Won the game, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think with regards to the other comment you made, though, I don't really see any reason for them to bench him down the stretch despite them being out of the playoff run because they didn't pick up his fifth-year team option. So ultimately, they're not in a good salary cap position moving forward unless they cut Derek Carr, and that's a whole nother. We don't know what's going on with that. So I feel like they're going to just like run him to the ground almost because they don't have him signed past this year.
I'm not sure where this comment is coming from. Adam, come back to baseball. You clearly still have it in your
I do like honestly. I will say no, Adam. I will say this. I would have liked to hear you since as far as when I moved over to fantasy from NFL. I would have liked to hear you once on the baseball podcast because I wasn't really listening to fantasy baseball today before I joined, and I wasn't really into fantasy baseball in general. And I have heard that you were a really good fantasy baseball host, and Frank's amazing too. So I don't feel like so it's not a shot at Frank at all. Frank's unbelievable. That's obvious. He's winning awards, but I just wanted to hear like what your baseball takes were because we've heard your football takes, but I was curious, like, was it just all homerism, Yankee,
Oh,
or were you like,
not.
okay.
No, definitely not. I would say as a baseball analyst or host, whatever, I probably watched more baseball. I really feel comfortable saying this. I probably watched more baseball than just about anyone in the industry. I was always watching baseball. I was always watching the pitchers that we were going to talk about. I was always listening to the broadcasters. So that was a big edge I thought I brought. So no, it was, I wasn't as into the advanced stats as the other people. And it led to some really good debates, because we saw things differently. I was right about 95% of the time if I had to guess. But enough about me. Let's get an insult here. Dan's hair is Josh Jacobs to Adam's Kareem.
Thank you. There's somebody who gets it.
Yeah.
Because you have to take out the forehead. Like, look, I got a massive forehead. We know this. You've pointed it out in the comments. You've pointed it out, and you've hurt my feelings once or twice that way. Not you.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
No, this is the people. I said, not you, the people. But when you evaluate hair, you're not evaluating like this. We're not evaluating Josh Jacobs' offensive line, the forehead. We're just evaluating the pure hair. And from that standpoint, I got the edge.
All right. Okay, so I will we'll answer some questions here. Brian has the number one waiver priority. It's non-PPR. Okay. He's been rolling every week, so he could keep it, or he can get Garrett Wilson.
I would take Garrett Wilson. I don't think you should keep it. I love Garrett Wilson. Look, Garrett Wilson, Heath pointed this out in his wide receiver preview this week. Heath, you can check that out on the site, by the way. Free content. Anywhere you go, CBSSports.com fantasy, it's all free, and there's a lot of in-depth stuff. But Garrett Wilson has averaged almost 20 points per game in every non-Zach Wilson game that he's played in. So, some are Flacco, some are Mike White, but that just shows you the kind of talent he is. And I know you're right, Adam. Partially part of his big box score last week was that the safety fell and was injured on the play and couldn't get back, and he was able to cut it back and score. But it's obvious that he's the number one target at Mike White right now. I think that this is a great match. I think Minnesota is a great matchup for him too. So I think he's worth it. He can win you this week. You probably need him for this week. And then going forward, he could be a wide receiver too.
I got no problem with him. I'd rather pick him up over Snell and Zonovan Knight and all that. But I guess the only counter I would say is if you're going to be a playoff team and you don't think you're going to start Garrett Wilson, there's a lot of value to having that number one waiver priority. If there's a big running back injury in your fantasy playoff, being able to get that guy. So that's the only thing you have to weigh there.
Remember the Hightower injury from a few years ago? What was that, 4 or 5 years ago? Do you remember that? Right. He scored like 15 to 20 points in every playoff game. It was amazing.
I don't remember that specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, for the Cardinals. I forgot to get this guy's first name, though. Now I'm going to feel bad. Tim Hightower. It was Tim Hightower. Okay.
Latavius Murray or Gus Edwards. So if that's a question for this week, I think they're facing each other, right?
Denver, Baltimore. Is that the game?
Yeah. I would go with Murray in PPR because Gus Edwards, basically will almost certainly not have a catch.
Yes.
I'm with that. I would go with Murray. I have Michael Carter. I want to bid on Zonovan Knight. What percentage of my fab should I use? Is this a starting running back for you or a bench running back for you?
I just
20% of your original budget.
I like what I saw. We talked about this on Monday. I like what I saw from Zonovan Knight from just a pure talent standpoint. He fits that zone, outside zone, the classic San Francisco outside zone, one cut runner prototype, probably better than anyone on that roster, including Ty Johnson. But Ty Johnson was used in the closer role there. He did score the touchdown.
Did it just seem that way, or did it seem like he was used in the blowout? Because
it's the blowout. Yeah, close that blowout.
He had 5 carries, and I think 4 of them came mega.
They did, right. Okay, so we can call it the blowout role, and that's even better for Zonovan Knight. But I can't get too excited about him because we don't know the extent of this Carter injury. So
he has a legit chance of overtaking Carter, though. He really does.
Oh, you think so? Wow.
Yeah, because Robert Saleh said, I brought this up. You already heard the podcast this morning. I'm sorry. I'll repeat it, though. Robert Saleh said, we have been leaving meat on the bone in our run game. We need someone to get vertical. he said, if we could just get vertical, we could have more success in the run game. You already
That's
mentioned
what he does. Yeah.
Vertical. So, and if you look at the first half before Michael Carter's injury, 5 carries for Carter, 4 for Knight. Ty Johnson was the third down back. Mm-hmm. They had a true 3-headed monster there, which is terrible, which you should be a little cautious with Knight because I think they're going to use all 3 guys. But I think they might just think he's a better fit than Michael Carter.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a low-end thing, but I think 15 to 20% of the original budget. Yeah, there are going to be better players that come along, I think, in the next 6 weeks. Is that what we have left? 13, 14, 15, 16? Yeah. 5-6 weeks. All right, let's take a look.
As you're not one of those leagues that plays into week 18. Those leagues, just rule them out.
And for you in the Scott Fish Bowl, you're one of those teams that doesn't play in a week 13.
Look, he's so excited seeing Adam. We're in the same division. I handpicked that division. I needed to have Adam in my division, and he did beat me. And it's against all odds because he did draft Trey Lance too. So I got to give Adam credit, despite having Lance on his roster in his super flex. He won the league. Who are your best players besides Kelsey? What else is going on in that roster?
I got Jalen Hurts. It's a pretty bad team. I don't know how we're doing it, but
it's just Kelsey.
It's super flex and it's tight end premium, and I have Jalen Hurts, who's like so good in this format. Gives you points for rushing first downs and things like that. And Travis Kelsey. I've got like Christian Watson, like DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin.
You drafted Watson?
I picked him up actually.
Okay.
I got David Montgomery. I got pretty lousy run. I think I have Mixon. But all right. So let's take a look at this poll here. What's the best board game of all time? Is it Clue, Battleship, Monopoly, or Risk?
Battleship.
Battleship is terrible, Shaver. That's a really
terrible board game. Can I dive into this one? Let me unpack. First of all, Battleship should have never made the list. It's like arguably one of the dumbest and worst board games out there. It's like, oh, D6. Did you luckbox into picking the right thing? Oh, good job. Now is it 3 or 4? Is it going right or left? Like, come on, Thomas, you're better than that. But I'll say this: Monopoly is last on my list, despite Battleship's basic terribleness. Monopoly is the only board game where by the end of every single Monopoly game, everyone but one player is completely miserable and dejected and out of the game. And even that one player, it's like, are you even having a good time? Like, everyone else is pissed. People are dejected. Half the people don't even want to finish the game at that point. It's just it is kind of like, showing capitalism a little bit. Like, we don't want to go that deep into those waters. We never dive into those waters, but it kind of does, it was built like that. But yeah, David A, here comes David A coming right in. But Monopoly, worst game. I'll give it. But let's see what we narrowed it down to. Clue, and what was the other one? Because those were two pretty solid.
Risk, I think.
Oh, Risk. Yeah, Risk. I mean, if you have 4 hours to spare, it's probably the best game from just
I've never played Clue or Risk. Maybe I have when I was a kid. Yeah, I know, but I actually voted for
Battleship.
Battleship has 65% of the vote.
Battleship has 65% of the votes. It's the worst game. It's the most basic, terrible game. But Adam, I took you, I should say, as a board game guy. I'm really surprised to hear you've never played a game of Risk.
Risk I've never played. I'm sure I've played Clue. Yeah, Clue I played, but it's been a while.
Clue's fun. Clue's a lot of fun.
My favorite game, I don't know if it's a board game, but my favorite game is Taboo. You ever play Taboo?
Taboo's a great game, and I think it would be considered a board game.
Okay, then it's definitely.
I would go with Settlers of Catan as my favorite of just the pure board games. It's a pretty fun game.
I've never played.
It's a good mix of like luck and chance with the dice, but also like strategy.
Nobody's ever heard of that game.
So. Really, Thomas? Really, Thomas? No one's ever heard of that game. A lot of people have heard of that game. Let's put up a new poll, Thomas, in a few minutes. Have you heard of Settlers of Catan? Yes and no. And we will debate and we will discuss after how many people. Here we go. Fantasy NFL Club right away. Catan is the best game. Monopoly is a true test of friendship. That's a good point, Wolf, because I'll tell you what, by the end of every Monopoly game, like I said, it's just pure depression for the most part.
All right, let's go back to Scrabble. Yeah, you didn't put Scrabble on there. Scrabble's a good game.
Solid.
Trouble is the best board game. Never played that.
Not really. You've never played Trouble?
No, I haven't played most of the classics.
God, have you played Life?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you just don't play board games.
I have no clue about the trouble with Life.
I don't know who you are anymore. I really thought you would be a board game guy.
I think this is a question about 49ers running backs. I was somewhat of a board game guy.
Not really. You
know,
don't know any of these.
Connect Four.
Oh, wow. Connect Four is actually it's not a board game, but it's one of my favorite games.
Right.
And I will say this, I'm one of the better Connect Four players you'll find. I would bet anything, Adam, that it will destroy you in that game. Yeah. Yep.
I believe that. I'm not good at it,
Okay.
but you're not that good either. Like,
Oh, I'm pretty damn good. I'm pretty damn good.
All right, Jordan has McCaffrey, Najee Harris, and Leonard Fournette. Oof. If all three don't go, I'm left with Gus Edwards. I'm looking to pick up Jermichael Hasty. No, I don't know. It seems like Etienne's going to play.
Yeah, I don't like that. If I don't get Hasty, though,
So
who's your next?
Snell.
Zonovan Knight and Snell.
I would go with Snell.
What about Jordan Mason? What about Jordan Mason, though?
I don't know if it's going to be Mason or Tyrion Davis-Price, honestly.
I would think it's better chance of it Mason. It's probably going to be committee.
Yeah. If I had Najee Harris, I'd probably try to pick up Snell and Warren and just get the Steelers' backfield. That's probably what I would try to do. And I would prioritize it Snell over Warren. All right, who we starting at RB2? Swift, Gus, Singletary, or Latavius?
Kofi, I really need to know the settings of this league, especially with this crew of backs. Let's just assume
Singletary this week.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's assume half PPR for this, Adam.
Yeah, okay, fine. Half PPR.
I'm probably going to go.
In that case, I'd go Gus. Full PPR, I'd go Latavius.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Gus in half PPR.
Do you not
think man.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm looking at these backs and I'm looking at the matchups, that Baltimore-Denver game to me, we're looking at like a team to like the over-under for that game. I haven't looked at it yet. I should look this up before, but I would guess it's like 36.5 based on how those teams score. So I would almost go Swift and go for a lottery ticket play here, to be honest with you. I know I would. I know I would go Swift over those guys. And I know it's not like a floor play. I'm not going for the floor. I'm going for the potential ceiling here. I don't see a ceiling with any of the guys here on this list except for Swift.
38.5, by the way, is the total there.
38.5 total. You're not getting points. You're not getting touchdowns. So what's the ceiling there with those guys?
Can you rank TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Schultz, and Dallas Goedert for the playoffs? Okay.
Well, we don't know if Goddard's going to be back, so I put him last. Right?
All right. If he is back, his schedule in the playoffs is the Bears, Cowboys, and Saints. Saints are number one against tight ends. Bears stink. Cowboys, I think, are solid.
Yeah.
Hawkinson has the Jets, Panthers, and Bears. That's good. And Schultz has the Jaguars, Eagles, and Titans. That's not great.
I'm going to go Hawkinson, Schultz, Goddard.
Okay, I'll probably go Schultz.
Hawkinson, man, has been really this change of scenery is really working for him. He's still not really that talented in my mind. He doesn't really create much after the catch or anything like that, but he gets so many targets now. They're funneling through him when they don't go to Jefferson. Have you seen his numbers since coming over? It's crazy.
I guess I haven't seen them, but I know obviously he's doing well. But not as well as Dalton Schultz has done when he's been with Dak Prescott.
Right. Yeah, over a longer sample size too for Schultz.
Not really. I think it's 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, but for Hawkinson, what is it? 3 games now? And I'm just talking about last year too, like past year. I was talking about the whole thing with Schultz, the rapport they've built.
Sure, yeah. But it's really the Schultz without Cooper, and but whatever. All right, thoughts on David Njoku with Watson coming back?
Yeah, we like him. We talked about him on Monday's show. We talked about him on FFT and 5. I think he had a great route participation rate, 78% last week. They weren't using him as a blocker. And he had a really good target share. I think it was 29%. So that's an offense that's going to move. And we don't know what Watson's going to do from a target standpoint. We don't know where the ball's going to go. But he's a good, talented player, and he's running a lot of routes. So I like him a lot.
I have Gerald Everett. Should I stick with him this week or try to pick up Woods or Conklin? And Chess is still the best.
Chess is great.
I would crush you in chess. I used to compete in very serious chess tournament. You don't believe that? I'm total lie. Yeah, no. You didn't believe that for 1 second.
Not for 1 second. Not 1 minute. But have you ever played Stratego?
No, I have not. But
such a good game.
Reminds me of the Family Guy episode with Adam West, was like, I also like Stratego.
Can I tell you the best board game ever? No, I don't. I don't watch. I think Family Guy is an overrated show and not really that funny at all. And South Park actually absolutely destroyed. You ever see the South Park episode where they just ripped apart Family Guy. It's basically, a manatee in a big
time I
thing.
had lunch in Mexico with Gary Coleman.
Yeah, exactly. That's all Family Guy is. They just took 3 random things and it's like, here's some random
the
flashback.
manatee balls. Yeah.
They destroyed the show and just like the creativity of it. But the actual best board game, and I will answer your question, by the way, as far as Woods or Conklin, the actual best board game ever that everyone listening to the show right now and you, Adam, would absolutely love. It's a game called Stratomatic. Have you ever heard of it? Stratomatic football.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was a fantasy thing.
No, they've evolved it to like an online thing where they do like fantasy with it, whatever. But it was an original board game that I have that I used to play a lot with my dad and then one friend to me and them love it. It's a board. It's like an actual board you set up with like a football field and a 50-yard line. And then you have 11 pieces and you move your defense around before the snap. So like you move your safeties, your linebackers, the offense picks a play, a certain kind of pass, certain kind of run. The defense guesses, and then you play, and then you roll dice. That's cool. Unbelievable. It's as good as it gets. But hopefully someone in the chat has heard of it. As far as the question goes, I do like Conklin moving forward. We saw last week that Conklin was involved with Mike White. The offense, in general, that pass offense was rebirthed. It won't look the same every week. They're not playing the Bears every week, but they have a pretty easy schedule coming up. So I would try to add Conklin.
Okay, just looking something up real quick here to. This is a good point here. Just from I couldn't think of a name. Don't the 49ers also have Tevin Coleman?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a bad point. I don't know. I think he's pretty much done, but it's not a bad point.
I wouldn't say lead back, probably not lead back, but it could lead to an even grosser committee.
If it were any other team, I wouldn't give a crap about Jordan Mason and Tyrion Davis-Price, but like they got 2 pretty solid games out of Trey Sermon last year when Elijah Mitchell got hurt. And Sermon obviously isn't a very good NFL running back. So, if you get any running back with double-digit carries in this offense, you've got a chance for a startable player. Would you trade Barkley and Higgins for Henry and Pittman? I don't know.
I was looking at Henry because he's on the waiver wire of 2 of my guillotine leagues that I'm left in, and he does have a pretty solid schedule coming up. Barkley's on the other hand is not very easy, especially if the Eagles get back Jordan Davis, which I think they will for those games. So you're losing with Higgins to Pittman, you're gaining with Henry to Barkley. Half PPR, it's close. I think I would take the Henry and Pittman side.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. Henry, I brought this up on the show this morning. He gets Houston in week 16. 4 straight games, 200 or more yards and multiple rushing touchdowns against the Texans. It's unbelievable.
And that was before they had this like next level bad run defense that they have this year.
Better add Donovan Peoples-Jones or Zay Jones?
That's a tough one because I'm a big Zay fan, but I like the upside of DPJ with Watson. I'll lean Zay, but it's close.
No, I'll take Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I'm gonna stick with Zay, but it's close.
Yeah, I mean, Zay Jones just had maybe the best game of his career. I don't want people to overreact too much here.
Yeah, but he was used in a different role. That's the only thing that's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
When you hear Zay Jones and Donovan Peoples-Jones, you immediately think like I do, Mr. Jones and me. You know that song? No.
Do I know that song? Are you kidding me? Do I know Mr. Jones? Yes, of course I know Mr.
Well, you
Jones.
looked at me like you never heard of it before.
I don't like that song at all.
At all?
I can't stand that song.
What's wrong with that song?
It's too unstructured. He's just like just babbling about crap the whole time. And the chorus is boring to me. I don't know. I can't deal with it. I'm not.
I didn't know you were out on Counting Crows.
I'm not a Counting Crows guy. I like Omaha a lot. I like Hanging Around. It's a fun song. There are a few songs. Einstein on the Beach or something like that. Like that's a good one.
Okay.
But no, not Mr. Jones.
Okay. I'll never sing it again.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Half PPR, Olave, Davis, McLaurin, Kirk, and Rashad White.
Start by locking in McLaurin. This is a really good spot for him. The Giants' defense and secondary is just totally beat up at this point. And we know Tyler Heineke and McLaurin have a great connection. So I lock him in to start. I assume that's Corey Davis. So I'm ruling him out. Kirk, I didn't like what I saw with the reversal there of Kirk running, such a lower A dot routes last week. So that
what else happened? I watched a little bit of that film.
What?
Marlon Humphrey was on Kirk a lot.
Yeah, that was part of it for sure. And Marlon Humphrey's an amazing player.
And you know what? He might get Okuda this week, assuming
Right.
Okuda's back.
If
But
Okuda's back.
yeah, all right. I'm going to go with Rachaad White, especially if
I was going to say
Rachaad White is the easiest call.
yes.
If Fournette is back, I'm going with McLaurin and Kirk.
Okay. I'm going to go McLaurin and same thing, McLaurin and White or McLaurin and Kirk, because it still is a good matchup, assuming Okuda either isn't playing or isn't 100%.
Do you remember the board game Thin Ice?
Never heard of it, Jacob. I do not remember it.
Should I start Mike White or Jared Goff?
What are the matchups again?
Mike White is at Detroit and Jared Goff has the no. Sorry.
No.
Mike White is at Minnesota.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's at Detroit. So it's Goff against the Jaguars. You're starting Jared Goff. I'm not. I'm adamant.
I'm not adamant. I'm gonna say Mike White. I'm sticking with it.
I know people are high on Mike White and Minnesota.
Yeah, I am one of them. I am one of those people high on Mike White.
All right. I think that they're going to do a better job. I think now that he's on tape doing this dink and dunk stuff the entire game, I think Minnesota.
You know what they say though?
What?
They say it takes 8 games of film for defense to adjust to a new quarterback.
No way.
That's what they say. That's what NFL coaches say. It takes 8 games of film. It's why you see a lot of these rookie quarterbacks like Davis Mills have like a flash in the pan type season, and then they go into year 2 and everyone's like, oh, I'm kind of high on Davis Mills. See how good he was? And then total regression. And you see that with a lot of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think it's going to come this week for Mike White, but we'll see.
I mean, he just might not be good, so that could be that could be possible.
Given Dan's rants, I think Bill Burr could be his uncle.
That's like the greatest compliment anyone has ever given me. Bill Burr is one of my favorite human beings alive and one of my favorite comedians alive. So I don't even thank you. I really appreciate it. Would
you pick up Jelani Woods or Olamide Zaccheaus?
Gross on both accounts. None. I don't want any of these guys on my roster, Adam. So none. Okay. I'm a board game snob. How? Because they said Battleship is a basic crap game where you don't do anything. Like, no, it doesn't make me a snob. I'm looking to think a little in a board game. I'm looking for some strategy.
What about enjoy it? What about Cards Against Humanity? You've done that
Again,
one?
Not a board game, but a fun game. Yeah, a fun game to play for sure.
Okay, let's see.
You're not a board game guy. You're a party game guy.
Mike White or yeah, you're right. Mike White or Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. That I won't go that far with White. No, Minnesota. Okay.
No. Stratego rules.
Yes. I wish somebody knew Stratomatic football. It's so damn good.
Who's who? Did you mean Guess Who? Because I do like Guess Who quite a bit.
Guess Who's good, especially if you start to play it like game theory wise. And so you would probably never do this, Adam. I just feel like you never thought of this.
Game theory on Guess Who?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me explain myself. You have your guys up in Guess Who, right? You guess something. I purposely put down ones that aren't actually supposed to be down to trick you into thinking you're closer to the end than you actually are. Then you guess who and you make it wrong. You have like little strategy like that. You knock down the wrong guys. You can do little things like that. Yeah, there's strategy.
I think that is against the rules.
No, it's not against the rules. It's definitely not against the rules.
I don't think you're allowed to put down people that you're not supposed to put down.
Why?
I'm reading the rules. I'm reading the rules right now.
You got that up fast. I doubt you're actually reading them. There's no way you got up the rules that fast.
I'm looking at it right now. Gameplay.
Can we remove this comment from Steve, for God's sake, please?
If the answer is no, then all of the people with blue eyes can be eliminated. I mean, you're a cheater. You are a freaking Guess Who cheater.
That's not a cheater.
No question.
Me and my friend had a strategy to the game when we were kids. It's called being smart and creative. I'm not going to view it as anything else.
You're Belichick. You're very smart and creative, and you also cheated. You disgraced the game. Which 2 out of Pollard, Swift, Jeff Wilson, and Gus Edwards?
So I'm never benching Pollard. Wilson. That's
Pollard
a lock.
Wilson.
Okay, so we lock in Wilson. He's like a true workhorse right now versus all these other guys. And then versus the rest of them, it's got to be Pollard. It's got to be.
Yeah. Oh, look at this one. Dan isn't this opinionated when Jamie is on.
Wow. I guess he feels like I have more freedom when it's just you, Adam. I feel like I can be myself more than.
No, there's a hierarchy. Like Jamie is ahead of us.
There is. Exactly. There is. That's a true hierarchy. He's right.
Yeah.
Jamie. I'm way low on that. I'm like the lowest on the hierarchy. I'm trying to work my way up by doing the newsletter this week, things like that. Right? He was calm last week. There we go.
Burks or Deontay Johnson rest of season?
Burks for me, for sure. I think we saw okay, you have Deontay Johnson, who's one of the best, like Matt Harmon charts him as one of the best route running receivers in the NFL, creating separation. You have George Pickens, maybe the best away from frame body, away from his body, in control body air, like just awesome 50-50 ball catcher in the league, right? Or up there, top 5, top 10. And you can't move the ball through the air. What is the common denominator here, Adam? The quarterback is not very good. So how can I get excited about Deontay Johnson in a passing game that's that bad rest of season? I'm going to go Burks. Burks is a talented player. He's getting deep balls. The ADOT is high. They're finding new ways to work him in. And I'll say this, the big catch he had last week, Adam?
Who, Deontay or Burks?
Burks, the one where he climbed the ladder and high pointed the ball, which he did a lot on his Arkansas tape. If Tannehill throws that ball earlier with anticipation and leads the receiver to a spot, it's a touchdown.
Okay,
and so it was a bad.
You can't sit here and piss on Kenny Pickett, and say, like the passing game is so bad, and then expect Ryan Tannehill to take Treylon Burks to another level.
Why? Tannehill is a much better passer than
he's not. He's a league average quarterback.
He's a very underrated passer of the football. He's a league average quarterback.
I'm very excited about Burks, but I hate his schedule.
The schedule is definitely concerning.
Do I hate his schedule?
It's not a great schedule, at least if I remember it, because I was looking.
Philadelphia, it's not that bad, actually.
Philly's a bad matchup for him.
Philadelphia is bad. Dallas is probably bad in week 17. The others are Jacksonville, Chargers, and Texans.
I don't love Chargers. I don't love Texans.
I mean, the Texans have been very good against wide receivers because
no one throws on the Texans because they just run on them. Yeah.
Brian Robinson or Kyron Williams in PPR?
Brian Robinson, even in PPR. I want nothing to do with that Rams offense. Nothing.
Isaiah McKenzie or Treylon Burks?
Burks.
Are we dropping Samaje Perine? Is he back to being a handcuff? Would you drop him for Warren or not?
I actually am probably alone on an island here, Adam. I would keep Perine. I don't buy it yet that Mixon is definitely playing. It's like he should play what we saw. But remember what you said maybe last week or something? You're like, last time this happened, Mixon missed 2 games with a concussion. I think that was you.
I didn't say that.
Maybe it was Chris, but
yeah, it's probably
he missed Chris. He missed 2 games last time. So
yeah. No, I think it's pretty obvious that Perine is one of the best handcuffs on planet Earth. So leave him. Damian Pierce or Tyler Lockett, and the best game is Pictionary.
Pictionary is a good game. This is a very good pick. Have you ever played that, Adam?
Yeah, not my thing.
No, because you can't draw.
No, I can't draw at all.
I'm
a better chess player than I am a drawer. I would go with Tyler Lockett.
Lockett for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that Pierce has this awesome matchup, and I don't think he's a must sit, honestly. But I'd have to go with Lockett.
I can't trust Pierce right now.
I was laughing so hard when Adam and Dan was Pearl Jam together, and Jamie looked like he was going to sign off right then. Deal with it, Jamie.
Deal with it, Jamie.
Miles Sanders against the Titans, a terrific defense, or Damian Pierce against the Browns?
I'm still on Sanders. I'm out on Pierce completely this week. I love the Browns matchup all year, but I just don't like what I've seen from Houston at all since turning the offense over to Kyle Allen. Like, it was only 1 game, but I watched a little bit of that. And that's just, I don't understand the decision. If I'm Houston, I'm looking to see if Davis Mills has any chance as a long-term backup. I know he's not a starter in the NFL. You gain nothing by playing Kyle Allen. So I don't like the decision, and I don't like what it does to the offense.
Would you add Zay Jones or Kadarius Toney?
Zay Jones for sure. Kadarius Toney, good luck counting on him ever in fantasy football. And no, I'm not bitter. No, I'm not bitter.
I have ETN. Should I pick up Jermichael Hasty? And if so, should I drop Jerick McKinnon?
Well, I think if you are the ETN manager, you should actually pick up Hasty. Does that, you agree with that, Adam? Like, I would drop, if I have ETN, I would drop McKinnon for Hasty.
Jamie says, that McKinnon is 1 injury away from being the guy for the Chiefs. That might be true. It also might not be true. They might get Ronald Jones more involved. Yeah. They might get Melvin Gordon more involved. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not out for the season, as far as I know. So I don't
agree with you on that.
I don't really agree with that. Knocking Jamie down when he's not here. Full PPR, Campbell, Ayuk, or Jamal Williams?
Ayuk. Though. Williams, Mr. Touchdown over there. It is full PPR though. I got to go Ayuk.
All right. Yeah, I guess so.
What are you thinking? Campbell maybe?
No, not
No,
Campbell.
can't
It was
trust Campbell.
going to be missed touchdown or
No,
Ayuk.
can't trust Campbell.
Trivial Pursuit, a board game? Which subject would Dan own Adam in and vice versa? I would kill him in the sports category.
I don't think so. I think I would beat you in football.
There's not a football category. There's a sports category.
You're actually like a trivia guy, so you would beat me in that. But I still have some other things I could beat you in. We learned now I'd beat you in the board game category. That's for sure.
That's really true.
Yeah.
But what is it? History? Would you beat me in history?
I could beat you in history. I could beat you in history. What else? What else is there?
Like arts and entertainment. I think I'd beat you in the arts and entertainment.
I don't know. I don't think so. You're
Dan,
too niche.
You've seen 5 movies in your entire life. I think I'd beat you in arts and entertainment.
But you've seen 5 shows in your entire life, so it's the same thing.
Which San Francisco?
Have you seen the show that Jamie's cousin's in yet?
No, I didn't. The Broadway show?
No, it's a new show. It's called Fleischman's in Trouble on Hulu. It's really good. I saw the first episode.
Oh wow, no, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Which San Francisco running back would you pick up if McCaffrey doesn't play?
Good question. We're gonna get that. I still think for me it's Mason. I know there's Coleman on the practice squad, like we said. He could be called up. Tyrion Davis-Price, who we haven't seen anything from all year. To me, it's still Mason, the one they're going to trust with most of the touches.
And then you can change your picture to Sean Connery in The Rock. Want to check on how Chris Towers is doing? He good?
Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking. I'm sorry, Adam.
Have you spoken to him? I haven't spoken to him today.
I haven't spoken to him today, but I have talked to him a little bit. He's doing better, but he's dealing with something he's never had to deal with. It's a weird thing. He's kind of going over. He can't really speak right now. It's long term. He should be fine. That's the most important thing. But he needs some time off for now.
What was I going to say? I really want to bench Chris Olave in our 2 quarterback league, but my team name is Oil of Olave, so I feel like I'll start him.
You're so tied to that, and you're like a team name guy. You do it in every league. Like there's one league we're in, CBS Sports, fantasy sports staff, that every single person has their name, like Dan Schneider, Jamie Eisenberg, except for Adam, who does his own little fun pun, and he has some good ones. Oil Olave is not one of them. That's the only thing. You're so stuck in your ways. Get off of it. You could have done so many better things, and you stuck with that one.
AJ Dillon or Kareem Hunt? Is that for this week or what?
For this week, I would assume.
Look.
I like Hunt this week, so I'm going to go Hunt.
Does Kareem Hunt have some type of bounce back with a different quarterback?
Right. Or just because they could be up by so much that they just lean on him.
That usually doesn't happen, but I suppose it could. Honestly, I could say the same thing about the Packers.
Or sorry, not lean on him. Just because they're up so much and they're running so successfully, he gets involved in the party and he has a rushing touchdown. That's what's happening earlier for the year with Hunt.
So you're going to say Hunt? I'll say Hunt too, in the hope that his best, his new quarterback likes him more. I guess throws him the ball.
And it's Houston. It's the worst run defense in the NFL. Right?
Yeah, but the Bears are not far behind at this point. 10-team PPR. Would you drop Tyler Higbee for Foster Morrow or Cole Kmet or Juwan Johnson or Tyler Conklin?
If you need someone this week, it's definitely Kmet for me because there's Darnell Mooney's already out and there's a good chance Chase Claypool won't play. That just means there could be a lot of targets coming to Kmet. So for this week, it's a lot Kmet. Long term, I'm probably leaving Conklin, and I am definitely dropping Tyler Higbee. Why? Well, I went over it on Monday. Right now, there's a good chance Matthew Stafford may not play another game this season. They're out of the playoffs. He's injured. There's no real reason to play him. When he didn't play last week in this new weird Bryce Perkins offense, Higbee was essentially just operating as an offensive lineman. He ran a route on just 36% of his snaps, didn't get a single target. That is bad freaking news. And he's a good blocker. He's a big tight end. He's a two-way guy. So I'm just fully out on Higbee. I'm dropping him across the board.
What if it's Walford? What if they go back to Walford?
If they go back to Walford, it's back to that crappy Stafford offense we saw without.
Right. He had 8 catches for 73 yards on 8 targets. That was the game Kupp got hurt.
Yep.
Walford. I would pick up Kmet too. But if Justin Fields doesn't play, then I'd be pretty nervous about it. But I would pick up Kmet for now. And
I still like it. Yeah.
There. All right. If you watch South Park, then watch Orgasmo. It is so fun. You've seen it?
Yes. So I've seen Orgasmo, and I was talking to one of my best friends, the guy who I run the Giants podcast with, diehard South Park fan, and he's never seen Orgasmo. I'm like,
What?
dude, you have to see. I know he never heard of it or seen it. I was like, this is their earliest work. It's hilariously funny. You have to see it. He's seen basketball. He's seen everything else, Team America, but like he hasn't seen Orgasmo. I think a lot of people don't know Orgasmo.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It is so funny.
So funny.
Would you play Rashad White if there's no Fournette or Jamal Williams? Oh, definitely White.
White, for sure. White over both of those guys. I mean, over Williams, but maybe over Fournette if Fournette plays.
Would you pick up Van Jefferson or Nico Collins?
Nico, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
All right, Brian is following up here. I have Kamara, Pollard, Rashad White, Fournette, Lamb, Higgins, Kirk, Sutton, Kupp, and DPJ. Do you think I should still use number 1 on Garrett Wilson?
Oh, so he's showing us he has Higgins, Lamb. The rest is kind
of.
Yeah,
I do actually.
Yeah, I would. You're pretty good at running back. And
is he though? I just don't even know how good he is at wide receiver because Lamb and Higgins are never leaving his lineup. Sutton, once Judy comes back, I don't really want to trust Sutton.
Right.
Kupp, I'm not expecting. DPJ, so it's Kirk, right? Like, how good do you feel about Kirk? Because Wilson could easily be better than Kirk rest of season.
Yes, and I think there's a good chance he could be. So I would definitely prioritize using that waiver spot on Wilson.
Okay, been playing Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer for 2 weeks. Nico Collins is available. Should I stay with that for this week? Would you stick with Palmer?
Well, he said he also has Hollywood Brown. So
yeah, but it's for this week. Brown's on bye.
Oh yeah, right. The Cardinals on a bye. I'd go Allen and Palmer. I don't want to part with Nico Collins right now with Kyle Allen at quarterback.
Adam, you were talking about the Chiefs DSD for the playoffs. The Vikings have a great schedule too. They do. I had them circled. I just think their defense is so bad. Whereas
Too bad.
Chiefs get to the quarterback. They get a lot of sacks. So the Chiefs
and they rush
Seattle and Denver.
And the Chiefs blitz all the time with Steve Spagnuolo. So you have that advantage too. You're going after it, which is good for fantasy defenses. So
Minnesota has the Colts, the Giants, and the Packers. They do have a very good,
but they stink.
They stink for sure. The Chargers have the Titans, Colts, and Rams. That's okay.
I don't like the Chargers.
The Lions have a great playoff schedule. What are you going to do with
that defense? Nope.
Just saw Book of Mormon last weekend. So funny. Yes, it is.
I would love to see Book of. I've never seen Book of Mormon, and then like back in the day, it was like so expensive and hard to get tickets. And then like I don't know. I just like never thought to follow up. Have you seen it, Adam?
Yeah, it's the only Broadway show I've ever seen on Broadway. Yeah,
I wish I'm. One day I'll see it.
I have a degree in theater.
Do you?
I do. Theater arts. Yeah,
that was your undergrad.
That was my double major: communication and theater.
So did you do like theater stuff?
I sold tickets at the box office. I despise theater. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. It was the easiest double major.
That was just your double major? What? You never actually did any theater? Because I would love to dig up some old clips of you like acting. That would be just epic.
I had this. I don't want to. I like to tell this story on the Saturday mailbag when we have thousands.
Yeah,
more
let's wait. I'll bring it back up organically. Let's wait.
All right, it's not that
good of a story. It's too good to waste.
All right, you've got Etienne, Ramondre, Carter, Rashad White, Kyron, DeAndre Swift, Deontay Foreman. Should you pick up Zonovan Knight?
Yeah, pick him up for Kyron. Yeah, pick him up for Kyron. Kyron is nothing. I have no interest in Kyron.
Nothing. He's in the passing game. Seems like he could be their lead running back.
That offense is so dead in the water. The offensive line can't block. They create nothing from a whole standpoint. The offense doesn't move the ball. There's no spark to it. At least with Zonovan, you have like what Robert Saleh was saying, a running back who's giving us more juice or more meat on the bone. Like he's getting vertical. He had almost 100. What do you have? 100 yards last week, over 100 yards.
Would you be trying to trade away Josh Jacobs?
No, can't believe I'm saying it.
I mean, with the injury, I think yes.
No.
But
what are you going to get? What are you going to get that's better than Josh Jacobs at this point?
I would take Eckler. I would take Henry.
Well, you're not going to get Eckler. You're probably not going to get Henry.
I would take Eckler. I would take Henry. Who else would I take? I would probably take Justin Jefferson.
Like what you can probably get is like from a
Kelce?
name standpoint. Yeah, but you're not getting any of those guys for Josh Jacobs. No one's
Why
doing
not?
that.
He's the number one running back in non-and-half PPR.
No, nobody looks at it like that. If you try to pawn off Josh Jacobs to the Kelce manager, he's saying no. Which, by the way, at some point we have to have the conversation, Adam, because I would love to have it. If we did the draft for next year right now, where's Travis Kelce going? Because he better belong in everyone's top 5. Right?
Yeah.
Like we do this every year. Everyone's like, oh, you can't take Kelce in the first round. I was the only one taking Kelce in the first round of our mocks this year. Everyone's like, you can't take Kelce in the first round. You just can't do it. It's like, well, every year we get to this point where it's like you wouldn't trade anyone. You wouldn't trade him for basically anyone. So why is he not one of the 5 most valuable players in fantasy if you're not going to trade him for anyone?
Yeah, well, I just think people were worried about his age.
Which makes sense, and that'll come back again.
He had some bad games at the end of last season, but then he has
then dominated the playoffs.
Yeah, dominated. Yeah. No, I think he's number 1.
Yeah, number 1 overall. Wow, interesting. Over Eckler.
Well, yeah, I think he's number 1. I mean, he's even better without Tyreek Hill.
I know, it's crazy.
His yards are not that much better, but his touchdowns are. So that's the case that you make against him, is that his touchdowns
regression
rate comes down, and he's just number 8, not number 1 or something like that.
But the problem with that argument is he is the best quarterback in football, the best offensive play designer in football, and he's basically unguardable from a size speed standpoint in the red zone. So it's like they've had years to try to stop him, and they can't figure it out.
Should I use my waiver on Zay Jones? I'm thinking of starting him over Pittman.
I wouldn't start him over Pittman, but I would use my waiver on him. You could cut somebody out. Obviously, you're not cutting
Pittman against the Cowboys. I know that's a little scary. If they do shadow him with Trayvon Diggs, which wouldn't be out of the question, that's a little scary. I wouldn't start Zay Jones over him, though. Yeah. Dan, Stratego or real-life charades?
Mon-Fri, good question. Stratego for me, though.
All right. Would you add James Robinson or Zonovan Knight?
Knight, for sure. I think I forgot who now. I'm so sorry to not remember the name, but someone tweeted at us earlier, Adam, with a really interesting observation about the James Robinson situation. If the Jets don't play him again this season, the pick that they're trading to the Jaguars changes. So it was a conditional pick. So they really have an incentive not to play James Robinson the rest of the season. They like a really big incentive. Draft picks are everything. I think it's like a 60 big difference. So I think they might just not play him the rest of the season and just give up. And then it's like a 6th round pick.
Okay. Would you pick up Zonovan Knight or Zamir White?
Zonovan Knight.
As the Jacobs manager?
Oh, no. The NFL just flexed out some games. Did you see this?
No.
What do we get? What do we get, Thomas? I don't want it to be that Giants game to the Saturday. That would really piss me off. But
why?
This is because I do a podcast right after the games. I have plans that Saturday. I don't want them to play on a Saturday.
If they play on a Saturday, we might be able to go.
That's actually true. That's actually true.
Because I would pick up Zamir White if I had Josh Jacobs personally.
He has Josh Jacobs. Okay, I take that back. You have Josh Jacobs. He has Carter too, but I still think you should pick up Zamir White.
I mean,
no, I agree.
Should I pick up Zay Jones or DeAndre Carter?
Thomas Schaefer puts it out there. Let's see what got flexed. You answer that question while I tell you what got flexed.
I would pick up Zay Jones. I think once Mike Williams is back, I don't think you're going to get that much from Carter. And even when he's not back, I think most weeks you probably won't get that much from DeAndre Carter.
Yeah, what a tease. They moved out of that gross Broncos-Rams game on week 14 Sunday night, and now it's the Dolphins-Chargers.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good game.
Yeah.
All right. You think, boy, Dana's about to go crazy on this one. What are your thoughts on Kayvon Thibodeau?
So Kayvon Thibodeau is a player.
Barf emoji, though, the barf emoji, like undeserved barf emoji.
Who gave the barf emoji?
This guy.
Oh, I can't see it. It comes up as just like a box. I don't see it. All right, so I'll say this. As a Giants fan, you're going to have to listen to my podcast if you want to figure out why exactly I think Kayvon Thibodeau has been really high because we break down the tape. On tape, he's somebody who has not been good in the box scores, but the box scores aren't everything. On tape, he's been really relentlessly good. He had 10 pressures last week, 5 quarterback hits. He just isn't simply converting them to sacks yet. That will come. Sacks like touchdowns are a regression stat, and those will come. And in the run game, he's been phenomenal. So I like what I've seen. He doesn't look like Micah Parsons yet. He's never going to be Micah Parsons. He's not like that's you don't get that every draft class, but He's been as good as any other edge in this class, including Aiden Hutchinson. He actually has top like pressure rates and per pass rush rates, pressure per pass
Oh
rush
my
rates.
God, he was so good against the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was.
Very encouraging. Which waiver wire running back is the top guy for this week and rest of season?
Okay. We've got Knight, Snell, Mason, McKinnon. Top for this week, McKinnon. Rest of the season, McKinnon for me.
McKinnon?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
McKinnon is...
What else? Donovan Knight. I'm out on Snell and Mason having any rest of the season.
Okay, so number one for me is Snell. I don't like Knight's matchup this week. He's facing a very good run defense. Number one for me is Snell, then Knight for this week. Rest of season, it's Knight. He's the only guy I think that has a chance of becoming the starting running, the main guy.
Fine, I'm fair with him.
As far as
if Carter's injured,
McKinnon has 2 games this year with more than 3 catches. One of those games was against the Titans when Mahomes threw 68 passes and he had 8 targets and 6 catches.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's just not there. It's just not there.
Fair. All right. I guess that's fair. I'm just going to go Knight then because I don't want any part of Snell or Mason.
Go Knight. Good. Go Knight. The hell out of here.
Night.
I am Sancho.
I don't know what
that's
that
Orgasmo, right? I think that's Orgasmo.
Oh, it might be. I don't remember the movie. I was like a kid when I watched that movie. I probably shouldn't have been watching.
You should not have watched that as a kid. Standard scoring: Palmer, Juju, or Julio.
Palmer, Juju.
Oh boy, I got a lot to say about Juju.
You got
just did my Chiefs research for the week.
Yeah, let me know. So I would want to lean Juju, but let me know if I should be walking off that ledge.
I would go with Palmer if Mike Williams is out again.
Okay.
Juju is really, I don't understand what happened. He played 38% of the snaps.
Caught all 3 targets.
He played 60% of his snaps from the slot, which was 68% or something like that. It was a season high. Mm-hmm. He's had 4 games this year where he's played more than 40% of his snaps out of the slot, and they've all been terrible games. His yards per target, yards per catch, actually higher out of the slot, but he just doesn't get targeted that much when he's playing out of the slot compared to out wide. So I think it's hopefully just a 1-week trend. I have no idea what that was. They basically had MVS and Justin Watson on the outside for most of the game. Juju barely played, and when he did, he was mostly in the slot. Sky Moore played about half the snaps and kind of split between the slot and out wide. I don't know what that was about. But in a standard scoring league, I'm going to go with Palmer if Williams is out. I'm going to go with Juju if Mike Williams plays. Juju has 1 game this year with more than 8 targets. That's another thing to keep in mind. Let's see. Is it stupid to bench Gabe Davis for Zay Jones this week in a half PPR league? All right, you want a Zay Jones stat? Or sorry, a Gabe Davis stat? Let me give you this one. So Gabe Davis has more than 7 targets 1 time this season. The Patriots have allowed only 2 wide receivers all year to score more than 12 fantasy points in PPR with 7 or fewer targets.
Damn.
And how does that compare to other teams? That's incredible. Like Buffalo's allowed 5 wide receivers to score 12 with 7 or fewer targets. The Patriots, 2 guys all year. So, look, I'm not sure how much that's going to weigh on me. I'm still starting Gabe Davis over Zay Jones. But don't love the matchup. Don't love the matchup. Let's see. Somebody has a comment here about how they make fun of Mormons in Book of Mormon. It's actually not what Book of Mormon is about. Book of Mormon is about making fun of every religion. And I had a chance to talk to a lead actor who said that the Mormons actually, a lead actor in the play told me this, that it actually helped the Mormons, like gave them a lot of publicity. And they did well from it. That's what he said.
How do you judge if a religion does well? I love that they did well. New people are coming in. Yeah, new people are coming into the religion. Yeah.
But listen, that's the thing about South Park. Because I get that. If you're Mormon, I could see like being really pissed. South Park offends everyone.
Everyone equally.
That's how they get away with it. There is not a single religion or race or anything that they have killed. Like every religion.
Everyone, yeah, they don't care.
That's just kind of how they've done it. It's crazy. Let's see what else we got. A lot of board game stuff here.
Good.
You all didn't include Chutes and Ladders in the game. Oh God.
I mean, Xavier, what are we talking about here? Chutes and Ladders. I think on the box it says ages 4 to 8. Like it cuts off the age. Like they don't like once you get to 9, stop playing this game.
Same with Candyland. Candyland is the worst game you'll ever play. It is so boring.
I mean,
Mac Hollins or Isaiah McKenzie to replace Tyler Boyd?
I don't like Boyd, so I'm looking for a replacement, but I don't trust Mac Hollins or McKenzie, so no.
Jerry Jr. or Kadarius Toney rest of season?
Jerry Jeudy. I'm out on Tony in every question. I mean, dude, the guy doesn't play. He does day-to-day now. He was day-to-day for the Giants for 2 straight years before they traded him. He's day-to-day. His whole career is day-to-day.
Paris Campbell, what's the deal?
I like that. What's the deal? What's that from again? Oh, the Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal?
Yeah, you would definitely be in arts and entertainment, definitely.
What's that supposed to mean?
You don't know what what's the deal is? Like that is
then I said I knew what it was right away. That's the thing.
Yeah. Like, could you be any more off on that? Like, do you know what that is?
Also Jerry Seinfeld?
No, it's Chandler Bing from Friends.
Oh, I don't do Friends. Friends is an overrated show. It's not really funny at all. And that's just kind of what it is. It's a very bad show.
All right. I'm muting Dan for that.
That was the best take of Dan's on the whole night.
Friends is overrated?
It's terrible. Awful.
Oh my gosh, I gotta mute both of you. He's still like, we can't hear you, bro. I muted you. I muted Dan Steyer. All right, you're back. You're back. Friends is great. Oh, Friends is so good. It's such an enjoyable show. It's like very calming. I put it on.
You know what I consider calming if you want to look for
comedy though.
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly.
It's such like simple
bad
simple
comedy.
show, you know?
No, I don't agree. What is going on here? All this Friends hate in the Friends does stink. Friends does suck. Friends is literally the most overrated show.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Friends is the most. This is good.
Yep.
Friends is American trash. What are you kidding? Wait, Adam, Dan, Frank, and Chris live in New York and haven't hung out. Interesting. Yeah, I know.
We hung out. Me and Adam hung out.
We didn't really hang out. We met at the Giants game.
Well, we met at the Giants game. We should have done an official. We'll do an official hang at some point. We almost went to that basketball game. That would have been a hang.
Yeah. We almost went to almost like a little road trip. What are we doing with Alvin Kamara?
Look, I've been singing. How long ago did I say I was out on Kamara, Adam? I feel like I'm doing this for 2
months. It was each of the last 4 years. So it was a great call.
No. It was never until this year, and it was like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm just not a fan of players in really bad offenses that don't get all the touches. Like, what is there to like about Kamara besides his name and what he's done in the past?
What do you mean he doesn't get all the touches?
He does not get all the touches. He had 33% of the carries last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mark Ingram did come back, so that is definitely something that we have to talk about.
They run Taysom Hill. They do dumb stuff. Like,
but he usually gets the touches.
He had 6 catches for like 37 yards. They don't even target him downfield anymore. That was like his whole thing. He would run the wheel route, and he'd get Drew Brees to drop a dime into him on a wheel route. Now who's dropping those dimes on wheel routes? They don't even attempt to throw the wheel route with him. So it's just.
I think you can try to get away from him this week, but
thank you all. Thank you, Alwyn. The podcast, which you'll see behind me with all this Giants gear, is called Big Blue Banter. You can find it anywhere on iTunes and Spotify. Also on YouTube, type in Big Blue Banter. If you go to our YouTube page, we break down the film. So if you ever want to see the coaches film, that's the all 22 angles. If you've heard those terms, you can go and watch the entire Giant game from those angles, and we break down every single play of every single week. So Big Blue Banter.
If you're wondering what Dan's shirt says, it says, "This is where good takes go to die," I believe.
Oh, baby, this is fucking Mets.
What, dude?
I did not need to do that. I did not need to do that.
Are you kidding? You're the fakest Mets fan in the world, and you just dropped an F-bomb for that? Are you kidding?
Thank God this wasn't on the podcast. I've never dropped an F-bomb in the history of CBS Sports Fantasy. I may be the only one who's ever done that, so now I'm really embarrassed. But
I'm going to start Deshaun Watson over Tom Brady, and I'm going to – you're ridiculous right now. I'm going to flex I'm going to flex Rashad White if Fournette is out. I'm going to flex Christian Watson if not.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm on board with that exact play.
Oh, look, you got a friend. You got a friend. You finally won over David A. That's all you had to do. This is not true. Oh, that was not. I did not say it.
Yes, he did. I do remember that. Yes, that's actually a great point, Johnny C. And he tried to look at. He that holier than now attitude that Adam just had. He went nuts that I dropped that by mistake, and then he did it earlier on a podcast. That's the type of stuff. Yes, everyone heard it.
What I said, I know it sounded like that, but it's definitely what I said.
No, it was that.
I did not, Johnny C. You're a liar. All right, we gotta go. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. For Dan and Thomas and Monopoly, I am Adam Azer, and we'll talk to you. No, Taboo, rather. And we'll talk to you on Wednesday on Fantasy Football Today.